getting clearance to visit the camp is not easy. After weeks of waiting, the Kenyan government gave CBN News the green light to land on a dirt airstrip in the middle of a parched and barren desert. 270 miles northeast of Kenya's capital city, Nairobi.
You land there, you get in a car, and you start driving on a dusty road. There is no tarmac road. Some mountains off in the distance. So you're stuck in the middle of a desert with nothing. Purely nothing.
Welcome to Dadaab, the world's largest refugee camp.
And they live in these camps, which are essentially makeshift camps.
Dome-like huts made from sticks and plastic sheeting dot the arid landscape. The climate is brutal, hot all year, with hardly a drop of rain. American aid worker Christopher Hoffman works in Dadaab.
The food, the education, the hospitalization, the medical care, everything, the water, the toilets, everything is provided to you.
Ibrahim was 20 years old when war disrupted life as he knew it.
We were forced to flee from Somalia across the border into Kenya, and this is where we ended up.
He hoped his stay here would be short-lived, a temporary place to wait out the violence. That never happened. Now, 25 years later, with 17 children, 4 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren, Ibrahim, like so many others here, has witnessed multiple generations of families growing up in Dadaab.
When the camp opened back in 1992, it was only supposed to hold about 90,000 people. Well, today, nearly 25 years later, more than 340,000 refugees call this place home.
The majority of them Somalis fleeing civil war.
They've lost their homes, they've lost their families and their communities.
Teresa Angaro is with an UN agency that oversees operations in Dadaab. Her group, in partnership with other aid agencies, provides refugees with food, water, healthcare, and education. For all the difficulties, Angaro says,
this is the safest place that the refugees can go to, and the place that they have now, that they now call home.
But that's about to change. The Kenyan government wants to close the camp and send Somali refugees like Muhammad, who runs an ice-making factory in the camp, back to their war-torn homeland. As you can imagine, he's nervous about returning. Somalia is still in the middle of an Islamic insurgency that hasn't recovered from decades of conflict.
Nothing has changed there. It is still a dangerous place.
Authorities want to shut the place down because they believe it's a center for recruiting Islamic terrorists.
Kenya government has expressed concerns about security, mostly terrorism, following various attacks in the country.
So the repatriation is underway. During our visit, CBN News filmed chaotic scenes as authorities tried to fingerprint hundreds of refugees.
This repatriation operation is causing us so much stress. I escaped here with my children. Some of them got lost on the way here. I don't know where they are. Just when I thought I was safe, now the government wants me to leave.
The government claims some 24,000 refugees have voluntarily left the camp this year.
Since the authorities announced back in May that they were planning to shut down the world's largest refugee camp, a new poll just out in Kenya shows that the majority of folks in the country support the government's decision.
Once they close down Dadaab, the insecurity cases will actually go down and Kenya will be a safer place.
Still, human rights groups have accused Kenyan authorities of intimidating refugees into leaving against their will.
The government says that the camps are a threat to national security.
It might be a threat, but not everybody inside the camp is a threat, you know?
Kenya hopes to cut Dadaab's population in half by December. For now, Ibrahim tries to give his family hope, but knows the future ahead is uncertain.
I'm thankful that Kenya has hosted us for the last 25 years, but it's going to be a big mistake to return us to a war zone. It's like throwing people into a fire.
George Thomas, CBN News, Dadaab refugee camp.
God.